The courtroom buzzed with whispered conversations as Judge Randall Whitaker tapped his gavel against the bench, his eyes glinting with amusement. Before him stood two identical black women, their presence commanding yet subdued. They wore simple civilian clothes, jeans, black leather jackets, and boots. To the average onlooker, they seemed ordinary. But Judge Whitaker? He didn't see ordinary. He saw trouble. "Well, well," Whitaker said, reclining in his chair with a smug smile. "Twin sisters, both arrested for carrying classified military equipment past a federal checkpoint. That's a new one." The crowd chuckled. Whitaker smirked, his gaze dripping with condescension. "Now, I could guess how you got your hands on that equipment. Some boyfriend, maybe? Or was it a hookup from a cousin who knows a guy?" The sisters said nothing. Whitaker chuckled to himself. "I don't know why you people," he paused, deliberately emphasizing those two words, letting them linger in the air, "always seem to think the law doesn't apply to you." The courtroom fell silent. The sisters exchanged a glance, but their expressions remained unreadable. "What's wrong?" Whitaker said, raising an eyebrow. "Nothing to say?" Nova Carter, the twin on the right, finally spoke. Her voice was calm, measured. "We're waiting for you to actually read our case file, Your Honor." Whitaker scoffed. "Oh, I don't need to read it. I know exactly what this is. You think flashing some big words, maybe playing the victim, will get you off the hook?" He leaned forward, grinning. "Not today." From the back of the courtroom, a man in a dark suit stepped inside. His stride was measured, his gaze cold. He walked straight to the prosecutor's desk, placed a folder on the table, and whispered something. The prosecutor's face turned pale. Whitaker frowned. "What's going on?" The prosecutor hesitated, then stood. "Your Honor, I need to." Before he could finish, the courtroom doors burst open. A team of heavily armed agents stormed inside, moving with precision. The room fell into chaos as the audience gasped. Officers rushed forward, weapons drawn. Not toward the twins, but toward the judge. "What the hell is this?" Whitaker barked. "This is my courtroom." A tall, gray-haired man in a black government suit approached the bench, holding a badge. "Judge Whitaker," he said, his voice sharp. "You are officially relieved of duty." Whitaker's face turned red. "Relieved? On whose authority?" The man smirked. "On their authority." He stepped aside, and for the first time Whitaker really looked at the twins. Their calm, composed stance, their steel-cold gazes, the way the armed agents stood behind them, not against them. His stomach twisted. "Who the hell are you?" he whispered. Nia Carter, the twin with a faint scar over her left brow, finally smiled. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a sleek black ID, and flipped it open. The golden emblem reflected under the courtroom lights. United States Special Operations Command. Beneath it, bold capital letters spelled out, Captain Nova Carter, Captain Nia Carter. Both of them were elite special commanders. Whitaker's mouth fell open. This has to be a joke." The gray-haired agent shook his head. "No joke, Judge. You just mocked and racially profiled two of the most decorated special ops commanders in the country." He placed a stack of papers in front of the judge. "They've led over 40 classified black ops missions, rescued hostages from terrorist groups, neutralized threats the public will never hear about. And today, they were testing security protocols at that checkpoint." Whitaker's hands trembled as he flipped through the files. Page after page detailed their records. Medal after medal. Countless operations. Their faces appeared in military briefings, alongside generals and world leaders. And he had just spent the last 5 minutes laughing at them. I didn't know," he stammered. "No one told me." "You didn't ask," Nova interrupted. Nia stepped forward, placing both hands on the judge's desk. "Instead, you assumed." Her voice was dangerously quiet. "You assumed we were criminals. You assumed we stole our gear. You assumed we were some stereotype in your head." She leaned in. "That assumption?" She tapped her ID. "It almost cost you your career." Whitaker swallowed hard. Sweat dripped down his forehead. The gray-haired agent turned to the guards. Escort former Judge Whitaker out of this courtroom. The gavel slipped from Whitaker's grip, clattering onto his desk. This isn't fair, he barked as two officers grabbed his arms. I didn't break any laws. Nova smirked. Didn't you? As he was dragged away, his protests echoed through the chamber. The room was still in shock. The two sisters turned toward the exit. Before they left, a young black woman in the jury section, probably no older than 20, locked eyes with them. She had been watching everything, and in her gaze, there was something more than admiration. There was hope. Nia gave her a small nod before stepping outside. As the courtroom doors swung shut, Nova glanced at her twin. Well, she said, smirking, that was fun. Nia chuckled. Should we go back to the base? Nah, Nova grinned. I say we grab some food first. I'm starving. And with that, the two elite commanders disappeared into the city, off to their next mission, leaving behind a courtroom that would never forget their names.